One of the biggest things that I want to cover today is not necessarily the definition of being great, not necessarily the formality on how to be. This isn't about the formula, not even giving the, I guess, defining aspect of what greatness is. And the reason why I want to put that, and you can call it a disclaimer, is because everyone sees levels of success differently. There are some people who are okay with where they may be at. Maybe that's where they have their ambition in a pocket and they've used all that they could. And then there's others that continue to strive and move forward. When we speak about the cost of greatness, that's different from formulating what greatness is. I hope that's not confusing. The cost of greatness is different from the formula of what greatness is. There are different formulas all around, whether or not you want to use those for yourself or other people that you may have seen do great things. You can define that as a formula, doing step by step for what they've done, step by step for what they've accomplished. Following their formula will also mean being able to know that these are the results that you're going to end up getting. But when we speak about what's the cost, when I hear what's the cost of greatness, the first thing that comes to my mind is emotions. The thing that we don't like speaking about. The thing that most people don't want to take the time out to recognize, to know that it's a real thing. The ones that realize that you think you're not feeling a certain type of way because of what you put on the forefront, but you can't hide it from the ones who recognize it and see it. The cost of greatness comes with the emotions of what? Pressure, baggage, weight, distastefulness, displacements. It sounds like words that are all leading the other direction away from what you're trying to do. This isn't about sleepless nights. This isn't about having to hustle, double this back, triple that back, spend that to get that back. I'm not talking about that. That's discipline, consistency, grind, ambition. I'm not worried about that. Those are attributes. The cost of greatness. What is the cost of greatness? Your emotions. The way that you wake up every day and you feel like you can't really push towards what you're trying to. But when you end up still pushing through, man, it feels different. And you don't need anybody else to call yourself great. Because there's things that everybody has paid differently in the cost of greatness. Revolving greatness into your trading, you got to understand the emotions of blown accounts, understand the emotions of losing money. If you're not prepared to even lose $1, as I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, you got people who spend $100 on crap over here, but can't even put 100 into an investment to then make more money back. Help me make that make sense. So when we talk about the cost of something, your emotions is what really drives towards greatness. And most of us don't speak on emotions. You know why? Because most of us are scared. Most people don't want to take the time out to talk about how they feel. Most people don't like the word vulnerability. They don't like the fact that, dang, I messed up, because they may not understand that now you know, even though you messed up. I'm the person to speak about the things that are unsaid, the things that most people are scared to speak about, because those are the biggest things that we hide behind a mask on our way to greatness. But how are you supposed to acknowledge what you can't even say out loud to then fix the issue to become better? So if you know you have a greed problem and you can't even close out, and next thing you know, the candle flips on you and you keep losing money. Dang, dang, dang. Like, what other areas in your life do you not know how to walk away from? Everything I talk about in this trading psychology class is a mirror to your life. So personally, when it comes to excuses as to why a person can't do this, why I can't show up, why can't you show up for the other areas in life? I bet you if I talk to somebody that actually knows you, they'd be like, yo, he ain't show up or she ain't show up for that either. It's a reflection. So if you're ready to face yourself, keep showing up to trading. But if you don't like looking at yourself in the mirror, if you're disappointed with yourself, you don't like the way your life is going right now, it's not really probably going to be the thing for you because you're going to get upset at some things about yourself that you're not going to like. But that's actually where the growth starts because it can change like that. I'm not going to go into the past about decision making and everything, but I'm going to use it as a quick example as to why I use that analogy with snapping my finger. Because as easy as it is to snap my finger, as easy as it is to make a decision on something. It's just that we think about the reality of what's around us. And sometimes we feel like that can block us on the way to greatness. Now, two people having a conversation about greatness, their level of conversation, if they grew up in different environments, had different parents, had different friends, or maybe if they even knew the same a long time, maybe experiences change the way that they think. Everyone's level of greatness is different from what another sees. So who are you to tell another person that they're not great for what they've achieved? That doesn't even make any sense to me. There's no way I could tell Dawkins that he couldn't have greatness or he's not great because the experiences are a lot different from anything else. So I ask you again, what is the cost of greatness? What does greatness look like to you? Is it the aesthetics, the accolades, the things that you see on social media, your reels, your thumb continuing to get more muscle than the rest of your body because you just keep moving it and scrolling it and scrolling it, but the rest of your body looks crazy because that's the only part that you work out is your thumb? What is greatness? The cost of it. Is it really getting up 4 in the morning before the sun is up just to get a workout in to start your day early? Because there's some people that I know that do the total opposite and they're still great. What does greatness look like to you? I encourage everybody on this call right now to really dive in and write down what is greatness and put your own definition on it. Once you do that, it's easier to identify the cost. Now, when we talk about cost, let's break that down, right? We can also use the word expense. A cost, you can also relate it to store, like a store, like going into the store, this costs this much, this costs that much. There's different things that cost different things. I hope that's not a tongue twister for you guys. There are things that cost different things. What are those things? I'm wording it that way because it's whatever you replace it with. You have more control over your mind than me mentioning anything in this channel that has to do with me just giving you guys visuals. Because my job is to keep open your imagination. Why is imagination important? Now it's about to get good. The imagination is important because of this. Usually, well, before I started trading, I was helping people open up LLCs, 501c3s, C Corp, S Corps. I was helping them with, different tax papers, just leading them in the direction just so they could be great. I didn't really want anything in the beginning. Never really, there was some people I never charged. I just did it off of the practice, and I was starting to get good at it. Um, when you During those times when I was helping people, I would always sit down with them and I would ask them these questions. What does greatness look like to you? They would describe it. However it looked, I will always hear some part of a doubt. So when they were talking to me, remind you, everything that they were explaining was their imagination. So the doubt came in because it was their imagination. So it bothered me. It bothered me because I was like, why are you doubting imagination? Like, that doesn't even make sense to me. Just the word itself, most people may not know the definition. Let's dive into it real fast. The definition of imagination is a cognitive ability to form mental images, sensations, and concepts that are not currently present to the senses. Stop. Let's go back again and read it. This is just the Google definition, right? Imagination is the cognitive ability to form mental images, sensations. Isn't that feeling? And concepts, pencils, phones, that are not currently present in the senses. So, what are your senses? Taste, touch, seeing, feeling, smell, hear, or have never been experienced in reality. There's a lot. I'm gonna skip ahead real fast. There's a lot of people that have forgot their imagination, and that's why their life makes sense when you look at it. They stop their childhood. It's not to say that you can't grow up. It's not to say you're not supposed to grow up. There's nothing wrong with still handling your BI, your business, whatever it may be, as a grown woman, as a grown man, as a human being. But your imagination, how could you cut off your imagination from the thing that you thought about when you were little? That doesn't even make sense to me. How are you supposed to get to greatness? Almost made me mad thinking about it. Going back to the story, I would simply say these words, and I guess most people started to say to wake up. I guess the way I would word it, but it's to me, it's not a wake up to me. It's just you get a realization of, oh, snap, he's right when I simply say this. If you look around you, wherever you're at, office, room, anything, I got a table right here. It's a table right here. There's a phone. There's a pen. There's a cord, laptop, um, paper, all this good stuff. This had to be thought about in someone's head. Just follow me for a second. Let me lean up so y'all can really like get this. I want y'all to get this. Everything around you was thought about in someone's head before it became reality. There are things that you think about in your head that aren't real. I don't want to lose you here. I'm gonna give you the sauce too on how people be like, oh, I don't know how you brought that into life and da 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 da. You call it spiritual, I call it God. Listen, everything that you see around you was formed in someone's head. So I tell people that I used to open up businesses for, and they would have this doubt that as if they couldn't do this or do that. And I would tell them, I said, if you're standing in a room full of imagination, because everybody had to think of you had to think of a chair, they had to think of an armrest, someone had to think of wheels so it could freaking roll. You had to think of it. Why would you doubt what's in your head? And maybe I gotta talk to y'all like this because this is the conversation that drives me wild. When people like quit, when people stop, and it makes me emotional because I want people to know everything around you was created. Someone had to think about it. So why wouldn't you take what's in your head and bring it to life? Well, how do you do that, Ev? Okay, freaking Captain Planet, like fire, earth, water. But people just started building stuff. And if you don't know, ask somebody. I know it sounds more simpler me saying it, and this is without the complexity, the root word complex, the pressure of reality and everything else that's around you. I'm not counting all the crap you got going on in your life. I'm just speaking about the cost of greatness that also formulates into your imagination. Because as long as you continue to think towards what you know you can do, and as long as you continue to think about everything that you know you want to be, your reality doesn't matter because you're up here the whole time. And then people start calling you crazy and delusional. They start thinking that you tripping because honestly, you're not even here in the present. All the problems that's around you, you're not even there. You're somewhere else. I hope that makes sense. It's almost like skipping timelines. I'm trying to give y'all sauce on how to speed up your life, how to speed it up, literally. And it has to do with how you think. You can think it, and everything else will start formulating around you. Oh, it just so happened you randomly met a person that trades, or you just so happened you randomly met a person that did the real estate. No, you was thinking about this. It just came because that's how it happens. Stop doubting the stuff that be popping in your life. Stop doubting the random conversations with strangers that you be having, and then they give you some sauce. Stop. It's ridiculous. The cognitive ability to form mental images. So you're telling me someone had to think about, yo, let me grab this brush with the bristles so Bull could go like this, you feel me, and brush his hair. Boom. Yo, let me get this pen, make it nice, boom, with the ballpoint. So, okay, cool. Like someone had to make a computer. Let me put a bunch of keys on this joint. I'm gonna put the numbers above the letters. I'm gonna put this over here, delete in the right. Like mental images. The cognitive ability to form mental images, comma, sensations. That's emotions. I hope you're ready for this part because this is the part where you bring it into life. The world calls it manifest. That's what they call it. Sensations. Sensations is feelings. I hope you're ready for this one. Everything that you think doesn't come true. If you want to bring something to life, you put feeling behind the thought. Just because you think it, that doesn't mean it's going to happen. I don't care if you spoke it or not. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. What makes something real is when you put feeling behind it. Well, what do you mean by that, Mr. Spivey? Well, what I mean by that is you have to feel that it's real. I knew that I would be here during the 4 years, during the 3 to 4 years when I was living out of my car. But I pictured myself in the car. I mean, I pictured myself here, but I was living out of my car. For whatever reality reasons, whatever. My body was there, but my mind, my imagination was somewhere else. and I put feeling behind that. What does it feel like to be him up there, even though I was in my car? What did it feel like to be him? Man, I know he'd be doing this. He would feel like this. I just started imagining. Next thing you know, what looked like overnight to others was still actually 10 years of work being put in. But it happens so quickly because no one lives forward. We all live in the what? Present. For some reason, people have a hard time living in that future because you're so worried about your present. And it's called present. I hope I'm not losing y'all. I hope y'all really got this one because today is a good one. This all revolves into your trading, how you look at the charts, your emotions, how you feel. Do you see yourself being that good trader? Do you see yourself really clearing bread like that? I saw myself clearing bread. I pictured it. What would it feel like? Let me know. Even if I had to get a dollar bill and hold it in my hand and just rub it as I continue to imaginate what it would feel like. Where would I be at with it? What do I see myself doing? What does it feel like when I'm in that space? When you put sensation behind imagination, aka a mental image, now it becomes something that is what? And that's the last part of the definition, which is the concepts that are not currently present. Concepts.
Downstairs at the kids.
Concepts are also known as products, something that you can hold. Your imagination is important. That is a huge aspect to the cost of greatness. Because if you can't picture yourself forward because of all the stuff that you got going on in life right now, you're not going to get to what you would consider greatness. But if you can, what'll happen is your not your hunger, but what greatness continues to look like for you is going to be changing because now you've tapped into your imagination, and imagination is ongoing, baby. Your imagination never stops. You're always thinking about what you want to do, what you want to become, what's after this, what's after that. But if you lose your imagination, then your cost for greatness is going to be what it is. And I still have to stay neutral on that because everyone's cost is different. I didn't want to come into this speaking about late nights. I didn't want to come into this speaking about the grind. I didn't want to come in here talking about having to work, get off of work, maybe catch a London play, get up with me overnight, go back to sleep, wake up again, and do the 9, get off at 5 o'clock p.m., come back into Asia, catch a move with grooms, then get off again. Like, I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about the cost of it, those tears, those moments where you're like, ah, like you yell, you're mad. I'm talking about those times. Like, those are the cost of greatness. Those moments where you're consistently yelling at yourself because you know better, not your environment, not the people you can't control, not the issues going on in life. You're yelling at you because you know better. That's the cost of greatness, your emotions, because you know what to do. And if you choose to ignore it, you're ignorant. But if you're unaware of it, at least you're trying to identify it. And my favorite quote I always say, I always give grace to the people who at least try to identify their problem. Because there are some people in this world, they don't even know and don't even take the time out to even pay attention to themselves. If that makes sense to you guys, just give me a thumbs up in the chat. Just give me Let me know that you really hearing me. I hope I'm getting through to y'all. I hope I'm really like opening up your eyes as a different way of seeing something. It's not that hard to bring something to life, yo. It's really not. Stop worrying about money. Stop worrying about tools. Stop worrying about, resources and people and all that extra stuff. That comes with it. I'm trying to really give you guys the sauce on imagining. You have to have that imagination where you believe. And if you end up believing, if you end up knowing, you're going to be fine. But if you don't, then that's where the problem starts at. Not discipline, not consistency, ambition, drive, encouragement, motivation, inspiration. This person's an asper. I'm not talking about attributes. Those are attributes. They can get passed through DNA or it's something that you may pick up through someone else. Attributes. No. What I'm specifically talking about is the cost, the emotions. Those are the emotions for greatness. And I just want to make sure everyone knows that. If you don't have the time to understand your emotions, you will never fully understand yourself. Understanding your emotions is the cost of greatness. Understanding how you respond to situations, understanding how you bounce back after failures. Or do you need rest? It's okay, go rest. But do you come back? How long do you need to rest for? Okay, cool, you had to take a month. Okay, you had to take a year. You know what? I'm cool. You even took 3 years. Did you come back? What's your emotions like? That's the cost of greatness. Do you know how to control yourself when someone pisses you off? Do you know how to stay happy? Can you still be kind? What is your cost for greatness? Don't lose your imagination. That's what's going to push you forward. Don't lose it. Please don't lose it. If you keep your imagination, I don't care how old you get. I'm 36 years old. I still have my imagination for all the things that I still wanted to do and the things that I still have plans for. My imagination is still growing, and there are still things that are compounding on top of previous things that I've already said I wanted to do. If you lose your imagination, it will affect everything in that series that I just got done talking to everybody about in the last month. Your imagination will kill your discipline. Your imagination will kill your consistency. Your imagination will kill your drive. It will kill your hustle if you don't feed it. If you don't feed your imagination, the other parts of yourself will struggle and you're trying to figure out what it is. The next thing you know, you're trying to go here or you're doing this. You might go to the gym. No, your imagination has gone away. It's depleted. So you're trying to keep up with other things to replace what you got to deal with in life. Take some time out to yourself. Go for a walk and just have an imagination. Picture yourself somewhere for 1 second. And then when you physically start searching, when you physically start looking around for things to bring what you're thinking about into life, if you picture yourself on a beach, well, I know I'm gonna probably need to go here for gas. I know I'm gonna need this for maybe the car. I'm gonna need to buy towels. Like you start picturing the things that you physically need around you to then make it happen. Instead of then thinking about the time or what everybody thinks about, the money. I really hope that this got through to everybody. I really hope so. I mean that. I'm tired of people giving up. That shit bothers me. That shit bothers me. I really want people to take the time out. I really want people to take their time out to keep imagining everything that you do. And don't you dare let your imagination go away. It's about 2 minutes left in this. And I'm going to voice to you guys, if you kill your imagination, you're going to end up killing every other part in your life. Because your imagination helps push you towards what you still believe in. If you lose your imagination, you lose your belief. You lose your faith. You can't stop forgetting what you look like. What do you look like? What do you see? What do you picture? And you don't stop until you're living it and feeling it physically. How bad do you want it? If you don't want it that bad, cool. Who am I to judge? It's not my place. But I will let you guys know, because I care about everybody. I don't have to go through no trenches with you. I don't gotta be next to you in your situation. I see people in alive. I just care because I know what it feels like. And everyone's got crap. Less than 1 minute, everyone hop back on. Dawkins is gonna take the floor. We're gonna go with risk management. Please don't lose your imagination. I hope that was good for everybody.